Imagine trying to log into your own bank or message your own mother or leave a comment under a video and being asked to prove that you are a real, living human being. And realizing with a cold drop in your stomach that you can't. Not because you did anything wrong, but because everything you could offer as proof, your words, your face, your voice, even a video of you talking, can now be generated perfectly by a machine. That day is not science fiction. It's arriving quietly right now, one system at a time. For your entire life, being human online was free and automatic. Nobody ever asked you to prove it because the fakes were obvious. That era is ending. We are walking into a world where the single hardest thing to prove about yourself is the one thing that used to be effortless. That you are a person at all. Tonight, we're going to trace exactly how we got here, why the old defenses are already failing, and what the frightening new solutions would quietly cost you. And by the end, I'm going to ask you a question that sounds simple and isn't. If someone demanded it right now, how would you prove you're human? Stay with me, because the answer is getting harder every single day. Start with what's already true, because it's stranger than you think. A large share of all internet traffic is not people, it's automated programs, bots, and a growing share of what looks like human activity, the accounts, the comments, the reviews, the people arguing in your replies, is generated, not lived. There's a name floating around for the extreme version of this idea, the dead internet theory, the claim that most of the web is now machines talking to machines with real humans as a shrinking minority. Now, to be clear, that's an observation and a worry, not a proven fact. The internet is not literally dead, and you are presumably a real person watching this. But you don't need the theory in its strongest form to feel the ground shifting. You've felt it already. That comment that was a little too generic, that profile that seemed off, that reply that was suspiciously fast and weirdly polished. The unsettling part isn't that bots exist. They always have. It's that they've crossed a line. For the first time on a normal day in a normal feed, you genuinely cannot always tell whether the person you're reading was born or built. And if you can't tell them from you, then how exactly does anyone tell you from them? For years, we had a wall against the machines, and you've clicked it 1,000 times. Prove you're not a robot. Select all the traffic lights. Type the wobbly letters. Click the little box. That test had a name, CAPTCHA, and its whole premise was beautiful in its simplicity. Give people a puzzle that humans find easy and machines find hard. For a while, it worked. But here's the quiet catastrophe almost nobody noticed. It flipped. The machines got better at those puzzles than we are. Modern AI can read the distorted text, spot the traffic lights, and solve the little challenges faster and more accurately than a tired person squinting at a phone. Think about how strange that is. The test designed to separate humans from robots is now one that robots pass more easily than humans. The wall didn't just crack, it reversed. The puzzles got harder and harder to keep the machines out, until they got so hard that they mostly just annoy real people while barely slowing the bots down. That's why you're seeing fewer of those puzzles and more of something else. Systems quietly watching how you move your mouse, how you type, how you pause, trying to smell the human on you because they can no longer simply ask. And even that is a losing game because everything about you can be learned and copied. So a very serious question is now being asked in labs, companies, and governments around the world. If we can't test for humanity anymore, how do we prove it? They even have a name for the problem, proof of personhood. And the proposed answers are where this story gets genuinely unsettling. One approach, biometrics, something about your body that a machine supposedly can't fake. There are already projects that want to scan your eyes, your iris, to issue you a kind of unique, verified, I am one real human badge for the internet. Look into a device and you're minted as a certified person. Another approach, verify documents, tying your online existence to a government ID, a real-world identity checked and confirmed. A third, some kind of human passport, a credential you carry across the web that announces on every site you touch, this one is real. On the surface, these sound almost reassuring. Finally, a way to be seen as human again. But sit with each one for a moment, and the cold feeling comes back. Because to prove you're human to the machines, you now have to hand something over, your eyes, your identity, your body itself, to whoever is running the system. And that trade, it turns out, is the most dangerous part of the whole story. Here's the pattern you have to see, because it repeats with every single solution. Each way of proving you're human creates a brand new problem, often worse than the one it solves. Scan everyone's iris to prove they're real? Now there is a database somewhere of the most personal thing you own, your own body, and whoever controls it holds a master key to your identity. If it leaks, is hacked, or is quietly abused, you cannot change your eyes the way you change a password. Tie your entire online life to a government ID? Now anonymity, the ability to speak, to question, to seek help without being tracked, quietly dies, and the people who most need to be unseen become the most exposed. Route all of humanity through one human passport system? Now whoever runs that system holds astonishing power. The ability to decide who counts as a person online, and to switch someone off with a keystroke. And every one of these leaves someone out. The people without the right documents, the right device, the right access, locked outside a web that now demands proof they simply can't give. Do you see the trap? To stop the machines from pretending to be us, we may build a system that treats every one of us as a suspect, catalogs our bodies, and hands one gatekeeper the power to define who is human at all. Now, why does this matter beyond the annoyance of a harder login? Because almost everything we do online rests on a hidden assumption we never question, that there is a real person on the other end. Think about how much leans on it. Trust, you believe the review, the testimony, the face on the call belongs to a human being. Money, commerce assumes the buyer, the seller, the account is a real party. Democracy, the whole idea that public opinion reflects real citizens, not armies of manufactured voices flooding every debate. Even love. People build friendships, relationships, whole emotional lives with someone on the other side of a screen. Now pull that assumption out from under all of it. When any voice on the phone could be cloned, any face on the video could be synthetic, and any wave of public support or outrage could be manufactured at scale, trust doesn't just weaken, it loses its footing. Fraud stops being an event and becomes the weather. Elections can be drowned in fake voices. And the quiet human moments, is this friend real? Is this stranger real? Is the person I'm falling for even a person? Become questions you actually have to ask. The danger was never one clever fake. It's that once you can't be sure anyone is real, you slowly stop trusting that anyone is. So where does that leave you tonight? Holding a device through which a machine can now imitate your face, your voice, and your words. I don't want to leave you in fear, because fear is exactly the wrong response. This is a problem to face clearly, not to panic about. The truth is, we are early. The tools to prove personhood are being built right now, and they are not yet decided. The choices between privacy and safety, between openness and control, between including everyone and locking people out, those are still being made, and they should not be made quietly by a handful of companies while the rest of us aren't looking. The most important thing you can do is refuse to sleepwalk into it. To notice, to ask who holds the keys, to insist that proving you're human should never cost you your privacy, your freedom, or your own body. Because the day is coming when someone or something will ask you to prove you're real. So let me hand that day to you now, while there's still time to think about it. If a machine demanded it this very moment, no ID, no eye scan, just you, how exactly would you prove that you are human? Tell me in the comments. I genuinely want to know if any of us still can.